Well, hello, YouTube. It is I, Big D, coming to you live and in person. I keep getting asked questions like Sprinter van, cargo van. In fact, I had a viewer I guess he's testing me to see, who's smarter. What's your percentage of 8-foot freight? What's this? What's that? He's been driving a cargo van for Panther for 13 years, and good for him. Now, if you want to buy a cargo van, I can tell you right now. In fact, he asked, name somebody, name your major carriers who don't accept cargo vans. Well, I did. Barrett, Load One, C&M. These guys do not accept those as some of your major carriers. Bolt does. Panther does. Hell, there's a million Panther fans out there. I mean, crap. Join the club. But I can tell you this much. Cargo vans are a dime a dozen. Everybody knows it. And the rates are cheaper. Why? They're a dime a dozen. Two, it doesn't have the height. Now, the reason that's important, if you're going to be an expediter, is that, well, if they take those big automotive crates, they're plastic totes, stack two on top of each other, and you get 6 of them, which, that happens all the time, you can't get them in there. Hell, if you got 3 of them, you couldn't get them in. You can't get 3 of those unless you have a really big cargo van. So if you want the 4, you still couldn't get it in. 3 or 4, you ain't going to get them in there. That's why we advise you to get the biggest, the tallest, the longest one you can get, because on the load board, it says Sprinter van. You know how many companies ask for Sprinter vans that really don't need it? Tons. But they like Sprinter vans. We pick stuff up in the Sprinter van. Sometimes we wonder why you didn't put it in a car. But that being said, a lot of major contracts require you to have that van. I'm not making it up. In fact, the industry will be doing away with cargo vans. And so are the manufacturers, by the way. They're going to be stopping production of them because they don't sell as many. Why? People are buying the bigger ones. If you're out there on the road as an expediter and you're going to get into a cargo van, you're going to sleep. And when you can never stand up, it's really not that comfortable. For your own comfort, a Sprinter van's better. 2, there's more work with Sprinter vans. That's a known fact. Even in courier driving, you'll get things that stand tall, like machines that don't want a box truck from, but they have a ramp, and you can just wheel on a ramp, wheel it right in. And we have seen, you can put a little ramp, you can get them at Harbor Freight. They're like $175. Well, I got a set. I can just wheel them right in. They have to stand up. You can't lay them down. That's cargo van won't work. Sorry. I know you like the idea of cargo vans because they're cheaper, but if you're really going to get in the business and get out there, especially in expediting, go with the longest to tallest Sprinter van you can get. You will actually save yourself a lot of headaches by doing it. But like I said, call up C&M, call up Load One, call up Barrett and ask them, hey, do you accept cargo vans? No. Simple as that. Panther and Bolt, they'll accept about anything. I mean, like I tell people, I did a video on those guys, mega carriers, and I slammed them. And I still will because, you go, they're always churning out orientation classes constantly. Why? Because people are leaving constantly. Duh. If you pull into a carrier and there's 30 vans sitting out front, they're looking for drivers for it, that should be an indication you have a problem. Think about it. Why do you got 30 of them sitting out there? If you have orientation classes every other week, you should probably think about that. I'm not making the stuff up. People want to, try to quiz me on how educated I am. You got to prove to me you are more educated. Think about that one. I can show what I make. They can't or won't. And on my next video, I'm going to take the wife's phone, copy my direct deposit. It was like $4,300. And I'm going to post it on here because a lot of people, but they won't back it up with any type of paperwork. I'll show it to you. Don't mind, what the hell. I've shown you washout sheets. I'm going to show you the direct deposit. Of course, I'm going to take my account number off it. I can't imagine why. But I'm going to hold it up and let you see it. So, I'm trying to be as open about it as I can. In fact, I'm going to be doing math I'm going to do the math. I'm getting some poster board, and I'm going to do the mathematics that came to the thing that Alan and I were, going back and forth about. I am going to show how I got there. Yes, you want to stay tuned for that video. That's going to be one you're going to want to watch, because I'm going to go in depth in those numbers and break it down line by line and everything else. It's going to be a spectacular one. But other than that, the van you want to get, if you're in courier work, I would get a small minivan. But if you're going to expedite, biggest, tallest, longest. Cargo vans are not widely accepted, but don't believe me. I encourage you just to pick up the phone, go to Expeditors online, and the cheap freight carriers, they'll accept it. Some of them will. Some of them won't even accept them. The cheap ones don't want them. But you'll hear, Barrett, look them up. You can call C&M, Load One, all those guys, and they will tell you we don't accept cargo vans. And the reason being is because on the load board, if it says Sprinter van, you can't send a cargo van. They won't accept it. And automotive freight, which is a high percentage of expedited freight, in case you're wondering. And no, I can't give you the exact percentage of it that's out there. But I can tell you that when they shut down the automobile plants, all the other, Barrett sent everybody home during COVID. What do you want to be out there doing? If you don't have automotive, you're not going to be doing much. Buy the right vehicle the first time. It's just that simple. And you're always going to find the one who makes money in a cargo van. Good. I'm happy for them. But if you get those automotive freight, and we've taken the high-top Sprinters in and couldn't get it in them. Shocking, huh? Yeah, we couldn't get them in. I had a load out of Nogales, and the people there took a picture of it. But we had two stacks of those automotive that was going up to Detroit. It's about 3 or 4 miles shy of 2,000. And, if you had a cargo van, it would have never happened. I got it in there barely. I had my bunk that hung on chains, and I could crawl through the front, and I had about 1.5 feet, and I could crawl over top of it and actually sleep still in there. Had a bed. And that's when a high-top Sprinter, or a high-top ProMaster, the longest, the biggest one. So yeah, I could get six van. It was 6 of those totes in there stacked. Now, if I'd have been in a cargo van, I'd still been sitting there waiting for freight. But that's why we tell you to buy that van. Is it more expensive? Yes. Is it going to pay for itself? Yes. But then when you're sitting in your truck stop and you want to go to bed and you want to stand up in the morning and put your pants on, it's a lot easier. Just so you know. But you got people who like cargo vans, and I have nothing against a cargo van. If that's what you want to buy, go buy one. I could care less. But I do know for a fact there's less freight for them. And there's more of them, so it's more competitive. And that's why I advise you to stay away from them. And if you're going to be if you have a Sprinter, go into courier work, go do it. Sprinter type van, don't go out and buy one. If you have a minivan like a caravan, use it. It'll work just fine, folks. If you have a little Kia Rio, that'll work too. Start out with what you have. But I never advise people to go buy cargo vans. Unless you can find a specific need for one, you limit yourself. And limiting yourself to money is never a good thing. This is Big D saying, watch and subscribe. It's a good idea. In fact, we were made famous on another YouTuber video. Me and Alan and Duncan and a few others, about talking about money. And the reason we talk about money is because 98% of the questions we get emailed to us is about money. There's a trend going here. It's because that's what everybody asks about. That's why it's a trend, because it's probably your favorite question. How much do we make? And we're trying to be upfront and honest as we can about it. So that being said, like this channel, subscribe to the channel, share this channel. This is Big D saying, if you're going to buy a van, go with a Sprinter, especially for expediting. If you're going to go into courier work, drive the vehicle you have and talk to the carrier you're working with and see what they actually use. There you go. Later.